Hi from the other side, it's Alisa here to tell you how you can make your hurricane stay here in Southwest Florida more comfortable. So of course, if you're watching this, you've already watched all the other videos and Googled all the lists for true survival prep. So this is nothing to do with that. You need water, you need non-perishable items, you need candles and flashlights and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here to try to help you make the next week of your life more comfortable. For those of you who don't know, Joe and I have managed hundreds of rental properties over the past nearly 20 years. So we've seen just about everything there is to see when it comes to natural disasters and all sorts of other stuff. So these are a few things that we've learned along the way from that. Also, we've got 3 little kids, and so we've had to survive some big hurricanes with them. Irma specifically, that was a biggie, and we made it through with that. So here's just a few of my personal hacks, if you will, to help your stay be more comfortable if you are here in Southwest Florida, and if you're not, if you're up north and you're monitoring the storm and you're concerned about your property, then hopefully some of this stuff will help you better understand what to expect in the next few days. So first and foremost, let's talk about what everybody's asking, which is, how do I prepare? How worried should I be? Should I evacuate? Should I put sandbags down? Is the roof going to blow off? The people up north are scared to death that their property that they've spent all this money on down here is going to blow away. So first and foremost, relax. Okay, as far as evacuation or adding sandbags or those kind of things, that goes with your comfort level. Some people are super nervous, and it is better to over prepare and be able to sleep at night than to freak out. So that's a personal preference as far as those things are concerned. But as far as, is your house going to blow away? So I know many of our homeowners here at Heritage Landing are from the Midwest, and I'm from the South. I'm from about an hour north of Atlanta, and so I grew up with tornadoes all over the place. And so you guys are probably very familiar with tornadoes, which they're no good. And when the hurricane comes through, what's going to follow? There will be spin-off tornadoes, so that's definitely a possibility. The difference between me and Georgia, or you guys, in Illinois or Minnesota or wherever you're at, the difference is the construction. So here it's concrete block, which is totally different than the stick frame that you're probably used to. So the current building codes, which the homes here at Heritage Landing are built up to, require all sorts of preparation. So you don't realize this, but there's rebar that goes into the ground that then gets cemented down, and then that rebar goes up through the sides of the walls, up to the roof, it ties it down. So literally, if your place was going to blow away, like in The Wizard of Oz, for example, then the entire building would have to go, right? So think of all that wound. So the likelihood of that happening, very, very small. Now, a few things that could happen, because they have happened in the past, is the roof vents. So if you look on top of the roofs of any of the houses or the condos or whatever, there's vents that come out over the top, and that's to release the heat, because we're in Florida, it gets super hot, so they have to have that that heat exhaust. So what happens is you'll have high force winds, and it's blowing sideways into those vents, and then where does it go? It goes into your ceiling. So you're gonna think you have a hole in your roof. If this happens to you, don't freak out. It very likely is just that wind blew in sideways, so don't freak out. Does that mean it doesn't have to be dried and all that? Yeah, of course it does. But that doesn't mean that the roof is caving in. So on the off chance, if that happens and you're in the home during the storm and you start to freak out because you think the roof's going to fly off with you in it, like Dorothy, it's not going to happen. So don't worry about that. Another question that I'm hearing from a lot of homeowners is flooding. Is my home going to flood? Are we in a flood zone? Do I need to put up sandbags? All this kind of stuff. The answer is probably not, but that is totally up to you. Much of Heritage Landing is in a flood zone. Don't freak out. It's a 100-year floodplain. That does not mean that this lake is going to come up and flood your house. So a lot of the roads will be flooded, and that's not specifically because of the elevation of the roads. Sometimes construction debris can get caught in the storm drains or they have these socks that they block the drains with so that the construction debris doesn't come in. So if those socks aren't removed so that the water can go into the storm drains, then you'll have flooding. So when we first opened Heritage Landing here, I think like in 2019, I think it was Hurricane Dorian, I saw that. Like, I made sure I drove the community as it was at that time to see where the flooding spots were or if there were issues. And there were a few streets that it wasn't like you're going to float away and need a kayak or anything, but there was standing water there, and that was because those socks had not been removed. So if you're in the community and you're out making your rounds, if you see something blocking those storm drains, I'm not telling you to do this, but some people might remove that. I know Icon sent out email yesterday, I think, that said that that was one of the things that Lennar is doing to prepare. Or maybe Lennar sent that. There's been so many emails. But anyway, I know that they're actively working on that to make sure that that's not an issue. But even if that does happen, you know, we see all these videos of people in New York, for example, or wherever, where there's actual flooding and people are up on the rooftops, and it's that kind of devastation. It's not like that. You'll have water rise, but it's not, you're not going to be swimming away. So now on to the fun stuff. So realistically, what's going to happen is the power's going to go out. How long is it going to be out? Who knows? You can see in the videos that I've got all sorts of FPL trucks are just coming south. They're coming south. So they are being proactive in getting everyone in place so that when the high-speed winds come through, they'll go in and you know, repair those as quickly as possible. If you go to FPL's website, right on the front, there's a place where you can click there and report an outage in your area. So if your power does go out, you can put that in there, and I'm pretty sure that it'll send you text alerts that says, hey, you know, power is supposed to be restored in 6 hours or whatever it is. I think that that's what happened on the last one. So you could definitely keep track of that. That's fpl.com. So what you need to do is be proactive and prepare yourself. I might not have power for a week. Realistically, is it going to be a week? No. I think when I worked at Bonita National, so this was like probably 2017-ish, it was Irma, actually. The power there was out for probably a week, because what happened was there were power lines that were down in front of the community, and that community only had one way in and one way out, so there wasn't a way to access it, and there was some flooding right there. So everybody survived just fine. So if you are here and local, then obviously you'll know if the power's out. If you are not local, then you know what you can do. What a lot of people do, which is really fun, is they watch it on their Ring doorbell. So if you have the free, this is me for entertainment purposes, if you have the free version of Ring already set up on your phone where it just pops up if somebody's there, but it doesn't record, I think you can, you know, go online and register now for the recording, and it might be $10 a month or whatever, and you just go back and cancel it. But you can watch the storm, and you can watch the activity. So you know, a lot of people have fun with that. They'll have a little webcam. Sometimes they put it outside on the back lanai to watch the storm. So as long as the power's going, you're going to be able to entertain yourself with that. So that's pretty fun. Inevitably, if you are set up with the smart thermostat or the Ring doorbell or any of the other smart home features, then you're going to wind up getting a notification, an email notification that says that there's a power outage or that there's an issue. And then now you know that the power's out. So don't freak out. Don't call every single neighbor that you have and say, can you please go check on my place? Check Facebook. I'm sure everybody's going to be posting updates on Facebook. And then just let everybody, you know, have a minute to get settled in and acclimated. You know, when storm's over, you want to be careful whenever you go out to make sure that there are no downed power lines, which everything in this community is pretty much buried. Where that would come into an issue is like if you went out on Birch Store Road, I think. So, but still, you want to be careful with that. And you also got to watch out for debris. Okay, so if you've never had to do this, first of all, congratulations, you're very fortunate. But I'm going to show you how to flush a toilet if you don't have any water. Okay, so this is why you need to fill up your bathtub with water before the storm hits, because if the water goes out, you're only going to have about 1, maybe 2 flushes in each of your toilet. And so nobody wants that if that continues to be a problem for a few days. So what you want to do is open the toilet after you rest, let's say. I just prop this up here to try to make it easier. So all you do, you would scoop out your bucket and then you would pour it in and then see how it's flushed. So, and that used about half of a soup bucket. So if your power... All right, so this next tip is for those of you who own a property that has a garage. So that would apply to anybody with a veranda, a coach home, or a single family home. So what's very common is if the power goes out, when it comes back on, then the GFI outlet is tripped in the garage. So what does that mean? That means your garage door won't open. So let's see how to fix that. All right, so we're in the coach home. So what'll happen is you might be trying to operate the garage door with your remote or with your phone app from up north or in the keypad, and it's not working. And what's the cause is probably this GFI. So here in the coach homes, like I just came out the door, it's right here. So you just press that, see how that lit up? And then that should reset the GFI. On the single families, I think it's on that same wall, like on the back side of the wall, closer to the kitchen door. So that should solve that problem. It does go out. Here's what you need to be aware of, especially if you are up north. This is very, 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 very important. If you don't take away anything else from this video, this is it. So if your power doesn't come back on, I would say within 24 hours, then make plans for a friend or a home watch person or somebody to go to your unit and remove any perishable items from your refrigerator, especially like the meats and that kind of stuff, because what happened at Bonita when it was out for a week, I had some clients that did not do that because you don't think about it. You just think, oh, the power's out, that's too bad, you know, I'm fine up here. But if you had stuff in your freezer that thaws out, then that gets super disgusting. So make sure that you stay on top of that. And if you guys don't have any friends that are local right now that could do that, then give me a text or a call, and then I can refer you to a home watch person here who can help. Okay, another thing I wanted to touch base on is flooding. So we already talked about rising waters, but what does that mean for insurance claims? Because people freak out and they think, okay, if the inside of my unit is wet and I don't have flood insurance, especially like people that own on the first floor of a condo building, then they get very nervous about that. So again, I'm not a licensed insurance agent, but this is my understanding. If the inside of your unit is damaged from water because the window was impaled, like let's say that tree over there, you know, came up and went through the window, and then the wind was blowing sideways, caused a bunch of water damage, then that's a hurricane peril versus rising water, like we need Noah's Ark to float by. So that's something to keep track of. Joe and I actually had an insurance claim on our home during Irma. It was built, gosh, I want to say in like 98 or 2000, so it was a different building code back then. But regardless, we did go through this, and so we've gone through the whole claims adjustment process, and we wound up having mold and all sorts of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. So that's why I always say buy new or buy newer. So, but that's okay. So we made it through, and if God forbid you have an insurance claim, then you'll make it through too. My word of advice from Irma is if you do have a claim, obviously take pictures, document it, whatever, but get online, get on your phone, submit your claim so you're at the front of the line, because if you have a claim, then a whole bunch of other people are going to have a claim too. And so you want to be proactive and get that claim started. Even if you don't have all the information, just get it rolling so you're in queue. So that's my little tidbit on insurance. Let's talk about how to make your stay as comfortable as possible. So let's assume power's going to be out 2, 3, or 7 days. So what do we need to do to make that as comfortable as possible? So number one, download. That's right. Get on your smart device, get on your phone, get on your iPad, get on whatever you have and start downloading. So if you have Netflix, most of the movies or shows on there, you can click the little download button. Apple TV, same thing. Disney Plus, same thing. Word of advice, I think on Apple, like if you go to iTunes, for you to be able to start so you could have it downloaded on your device, but for you to be able to actually get it kick-started to running, you have to have internet access. So you're either going to need to have it on a smart device that has cellular service, or you'll have to use a hotspot to kick-start that. Or if you Home Depot, no idea what I'm talking about. It really wasn't that bad of a madhouse. They do still have generators, but apparently there's still generators. You'll be sad when you're sitting there. So good luck with that. Number two, make sure you have plug it in, all of your portable devices charged. So you probably got these kind of things are great bag or to help keep wherever stuff charged. Dig all that stuff out. So get it very important. Ready, and of course use it sparingly. So of course all using your car, say get your flashlights, this kind of stuff. Candles ready. Make sure it's out of the garage. Don't forget that your phone is a flashlight. Because if you have an iPhone, if your car is running, swipe down up at the top and outside, bring up a little menu, the house, and you're not going to see a little flashlight icon. Click on that. So don't do it. Pull it out. But anyway, first of all, let's talk about where do you get this personal favorite. If you're just plug it into the cigarette lighter, here you got this. You've got your regular outlets and then your USB. So these are great. Where can you get these? Costco. You know, everybody hit up Costco already. That's probably sold out. My hack is on any of this stuff. The best places to go that people forget about are Walgreens, CVS, and here's the best one, truck stops. Nobody thinks about truck stops, but like, have you ever been to a truck stop and you're like, oh my God, they have all sorts of random stuff? That's the jackpot. I hit the Pilot this morning in Punta Gorda, and they have all sorts of stuff. So that's exactly where I would go. Speaking of this morning, you might have seen some of my posts on Facebook. So doing property management, this is one of the things that we unfortunately learned here at Heritage Landing. So over Memorial Day weekend, there was a big lightning storm, and it took out a lot of the refrigerators. And there was no rhyme or reason. It happened in the terraces, the coach homes. They had these little guys. So they had a whole display of these battery backups with the cords. And they were two for $22. So not bad, because you get this huge cord and the battery backup. So I invested in these. The verandas and the single family homes. And after it happened, I learned that it also happened like down at some of the homes in Burnt Store Marina. So you need a surge protector on your refrigerator. If it's the GE model that they used, I don't know if it was the parts that were used because of COVID, I don't know. These were all, you know, under warranty at the time, so they were all less than a year old. But that lightning storm came and it shorted out, I think, the motherboard or something. And so it happened to so many people at exactly the same time. A lot of people were out of a refrigerator for a good week. So even though it was covered under warranty, that was very annoying. So not for us, but you know, for the people it affected. So if you have time, go get these. This is what the guy at Lowe's told me. See how it says small appliance, sorry, it says large appliance surge protector. So you just plug that in and then go on about your business. You can also plug it into your TVs or whatever. Next up, is this handy dandy thing. So I actually got this a few months ago when I thought it was Armageddon, when Russia was invading Ukraine, and you know, gas prices were going crazy and whatever. But you can still get these at Home Depot, or you could as of yesterday, and they're tucked away, or at least at the Fort Myers one, they were tucked away, so a lot of people didn't see them. But you see how it's all-purpose radio, weather, and portable phone charger. So all in one. Yay, happy, done. We're going to charge some stuff. We're going to listen to the weather. It'll be great. That one thing I don't have in my handy dandy arsenal, which is fabulous. Did this during Irma. It's great. You can get the old-timey bunny ears for your TV at Walgreens and CVS. So they keep those either like over in the photo section or behind the counter, and nobody ever asks for them because, I mean, when's the last time you even thought about those things, right? So that's really good tool if you want to stay up to date with what's going on out there, because power's going to go down, but when the power comes back up, the internet could be down, right? Or your cable television could be off. So, you know, you could plan for a good, I would say, 5 to 10 days of interruption in your service in some way, shape, or form. So just in preparation for that, go hit those areas. Here's another handy thing. It weighs about 10 million pounds. It's called Cyber Power, and I got this at Costco. I don't know if they still have them. It was a few days ago, but it has the ports in the front for your phone, and then back here it's got a million plug-ins, but it's a battery backup, and I think it works like 10 or 12 hours or something, so that's really good, like especially for medical care. So like, for example, my mom is on oxygen, so I completely understand the necessity to have power to run her oxygen machine, right? So first of all, if you're watching this and you're in this situation and there's an outage and you don't have power for your oxygen, then call me. I will rip this out of my children's hands and bring it to you so that you can breathe, because I happen to think breathing is very important. Side note, here's a fun fact. A lot of you don't realize this, but the back gate, so I'm over here by, right there is the amenities. So if you keep going across that bridge, circle around and to the left, that's the back gate, which a lot of people don't even know that that's functional right now. But right across the street, right across Burnt Store Road is the fire station. So right there, ready to go. If you have an emergency, that fire station's right there. So let's talk, like for oxygen, they have oxygen. I know that because I had to take my mom to the fire station before. So that's good to know in case of a pinch. And then here is this high power inverter, also at Costco. But again, I would suggest if you don't Costco lines, then go to the truck stop. Sounds crazy, like whoever searches out a truck stop, but they have a lot of this stuff there. So a few last things to remember is, of course, your pets. You know, a lot of times we're so busy getting everything ready for ourselves, we forget about our little pets. Like, for example, we have 2 cats. So we're gonna need to dump all their gross litter, bring it in, and you know, get them all freshened up and ready to go. And also keep in mind that these storms can make them very nervous. So I actually used to have a little toy poodle, and I would have to give her diazepam to help keep her calm. So, and that was from the vet. So you can call your vet if you think that's a concern, if they get freaked out like over fireworks and that kind of thing. Almost, I would say probably 90% of the homes here at Heritage Landing are impact glass windows and doors, which means your home is protected. Like, you don't need to put up hurricane shutters, which is fabulous. It's super easy, you know, lock and go, and that's why you guys buy these maintenance free or low maintenance homes, so that if you are up north, you don't have to worry about that. The thing that you have to worry about in a hurricane is not being blown away, like I said before, but it is debris flying around. So you know, if a tree branch hits that window, you know, is it gonna crack? Is it gonna come through or not? Very likely it won't come through. It will spider like how your windshield does, but because it's impact glass, it won't come through. So you feel pretty safe with that. Of course, make sure you're in an interior room when the storm comes, and you'll know when it's coming, you know, or if it comes at night, you might sleep right through it, you know. But one thing to be cautious of is the eye, because you'll think, so it'll be really heavy storms, and it'll be really dark, and then all of a sudden it gets very calm, and you know, the sky might light up and it's so pretty and it looks like the Gold Coast, and you know, curiosity killed the cat, literally. So like, don't go outside to see if everything's okay, because it very likely could be the eye going over. So you want to track the storm on your phone so that you can see if that eye is further north, then it is okay to go out. A lot of times it's, you know, you go out there because it's fun, it's eerie, it's kind of like, you know, if you've ever been around a tornado and you know, the sky gets red and orange, and you know, it's just that weird calm. So it definitely kind of wants to suck you out there, but don't let it literally suck you away. So just definitely be calm. Check the post. All of your neighbors are going to be posting stuff. This is a really great community. Everybody works really well together to keep everybody posted, and to help each other. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why we love Heritage Landing so much. But also, another hack is dry ice. So if your refrigerator goes out, or if you lose power, then a great way to help keep your stuff cold for a longer period of time is dry ice. So if you are one of those people that's super prepared and you're ready for this hurricane, then go to Publix, get a little bit of dry ice. Don't touch it. It will literally turn your skin black. But get that, have that on hand, and then that's a great hack to be prepared for if you do lose power. Another thing to think about is food. So of course you probably have all sorts of junk food and dry food at home, and you know, whatever. But after a few days, if it lasts that long, then you're going to start getting antsy and you're going to want to go out. So I'm sure on Facebook people will be posting who's open and who's not. There is a fun fact here at Heritage Landing. Shipt, which is SHIPT, and also DoorDash, both deliver to this community. So you can download either one of those apps, and of course they charge you a surcharge and gratuity and all that. But if you just can't take it anymore and you need a pizza or some wings or whatever it is, then go on one of those apps, and if those delivery drivers are out, then they'll go to whichever restaurants are open, they'll bring it to you, or you can go out. Another thing is gas. So of course you want to limit your driving, because it'll be hard to get gas. Gas stations can have the gas on hand, but if they don't have power, they're not going to be able to supply it to you, right? So, you know, just like anything else, you want to think strategically, where should I go to get gas? Or if you're out scouring for gas or food or human interaction, head towards a hospital, because the power that's going to come on first are the businesses that are on the hospital grid, right? So head up to Punta Gorda, or down to Cape Coral, to one of those hospitals, so that way, you know, that power is going to come online sooner. Keep in mind, your trash service is going to get pushed back. So instead of coming on Friday, you know, it could be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever. So you're just going to have to adjust to that as they start getting everything picked up. The other great thing to remember is don't park under a tree. Like, seriously, don't do it. So most of the landscaping here is less mature. So what's going to happen is, like, see all these palm trees? So palm trees survive storms because they bend, right? So they bend in the wind, so you're not really going to have to worry about that. But when they're young and have been recently planted, then they might come up, which is no big deal. They just settle back up, and then they stake them. But like these big birch trees, those have been there a while, and so their roots are very firmly planted. So specific areas for that is like on Purple Emperor and key grass. You know, some of those trees are much more mature, and if you park under one of those and a limb falls down on your car, then that's just something that probably could have been avoided. So if you don't have room in your garage, I would find a neighbor, you know, ask if you could park in their garage. Maybe somebody in the terraces, you know, maybe you have a friend over there that's not in town that'll loan you their parking space. I don't know, but just don't park under any big trees, because that's just asking for trouble. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, specifically now, because I'll continue to post updated videos over the next few days to show the progress and to see what's happening. So if you want to keep track on everything that's going on, then subscribe to my channel, and then you'll get an email whenever a new video has been posted. So I know this is a whole lot to go over, but I hope it helps. And don't forget, for any of your needs here at Heritage Landing, be sure to call either Joe or myself. We're happy to help you, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just hang out at the pool. We look forward to meeting